Hello, my name is Naina. I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner, and today I'm going to be talking about the Eyekey Malt from Amrutam, as well as a little bit about eye health as per Ayurveda. Looking after our eyes is incredibly important. Why? Because it allows us to see things, and when we can see things, we can start to perceive things either as true or false. So our eyes enable us to see the world, and that will also allow us to see the truth as well. So when we're talking about the eyes in Ayurveda, the main thing that we want to be looking at, or that we try to take care of, is something called Alochaka Pitta. Alochaka Pitta is a subtype of the Pitta dosha, which is the one that is all about fire and heat in the body and transformation. And it's one of the subtypes especially focused around the eyes. Another dosha that's really important when it comes to eye health is the kapha dosha. So whenever we're thinking about eye problems, we're normally looking at Pitta disturbances and kapha disturbances. So you'll find in the Ayurvedic daily routine, the dinacharya, the eye cleansing part is actually to get the kapha out from the eyes, because it's the kapha that will disturb our vision and not make it clear so that we can see. If the pitta becomes too much or too less, our vision is not so sharp and we're not able to see things as they are. And that's why when there's things like infections or inflammation associated with the eye, it's normally got those pitta kapha type symptoms like itching, burning, redness. Sometimes there might be a little bit of gunk in the eyes forming. So maintaining this sharp vision of our eyes and how we see things, it's not just for a physical thing. It's not just so that I can look at this tree or mountain and see that it's sharp. Our vision needs to be clear so that we are able to see the truth. It's only when we can see things as they actually are, as the truth, then we're able to navigate and move through life in a more conscious way. And that will take us towards truth, rather than going through life blindly, looking at things as how we think they are, or how our mind wants to perceive it as it is, and not taking it for what it actually is. So looking after our eyes involves making sure that our pitta dosha remains in balance. We also want to make sure that the kapha doesn't build up too much in the eyes as well. But also we want to make sure that we're not, looking at screens too much, not looking at reading things too closely, not reading things in the dark. These kinds of usual measures are there. Something really interesting that Ayurveda teaches us about the eyes, it's where our tears come out from, and our tears are an expression or almost like a waste product or byproduct of our emotional release. So depending on where your tears come out from will tell us about what that emotion is more linked to. So if your tears are coming out from your inner eye, these tears are more associated with grief and deep sadness. If the tears from your eyes are coming out from the center, this is more associated with frustration and anger. And then we have tears that come out from the sides of the eyes around the face. These are bliss tears. These are normally the tears that we have when we cry with happiness. So our eyes are able to perceive the truth and see things as they are. And what's interesting is when I was looking at the ingredients in the Amrutam Eyekey Malt, of course the ingredients in there are Ayurvedically suited to support your vision on a physical level, to maintain the health of the eyes. But if we look at it more deeply, we can understand that there is a wider, more deeper component to this. So when I was reading through the ingredients, obviously there's many things in there that we have probably heard of: Triphala, Gugalu, Shankpushpi, Brahmi, Jatamamsi, and all of these things interestingly help the mind and the colon. They help in various places. What I noticed about the ingredients here is they generally are all of a purifying nature. So by keeping the inside of our body clean and pure and not full of things that are not good for us, throwing away the rubbish, our vision is clearer. And that's not just on a physical level, that's also on a subtle spiritual mental level. If we don't keep inside of us as clean as possible and digesting things and turning things over and transforming and building new cells and keeping everything clear, we won't be able to see things as clearly. We will be seeing life according to whatever is inside us. And it disturbs our vision of how we see the world. And how we see the world will determine how we think. Another really interesting thing about the Eyekey Malt, when I was looking at the ingredients, is that most of them are balsam. So what's interesting about balsam is it's basically different things and their ash components. So we've got the ash from gold, the ash from silver, the ash from iron, the ash from copper, zinc, and conch shell, and even pearl, and much more. What's really interesting about balsam, or this ash, is when we look at how it works and what it's used for, it's not so easy to see. There's not some scientific explanation that can explain the process of how it helps our vision. But if we look to see how balsam is used in other ways in Indian culture, we might learn a little bit more. So you might have seen in Indian culture where people smear ash, not just on the top of their head, but sometimes all over their body. And it's very much associated with the worship of Lord Shiva. And what this ash is also known as is vibhuti. What it represents is a reminder of the impermanence of life. So by smearing ash on the body, or by even consuming ash, we are remembering that we are not this body. This body is not going to be forever, and everything in this material world will eventually go. So why hold on to that attachment of it and get so lost into Maya in that sense? Although we can't know or explain the science behind taking ash and its medicinal workings, if we think about how it's used in culture in a way of showing us the impermanence of life, it's showing us and taking us towards that truth. So by the ash symbolized as a reminder of the impermanence of life, it also shows us that which is true or not true. So that which is true, according to the Vedic philosophy, is anything that's eternal, anything that's going to be there and lasting. It's not fleeting. That's what truth is. In a way, we are all searching for that truth. So that's what's so interesting about the amount of ash products that are in the Eyekey Malt from Amrutam that give us that vision. And I do definitely believe that it's not just, everything on a pharmacological level in terms of how it's going to work. When we're looking at the way Ayurvedic products work and ingredients, we do have to keep an open mind. So if you are suffering from eye problems, it's definitely worth taking time to think about whether am I keeping myself pure and clean inside. And that doesn't mean that you're dirty in a sense, but we want to make sure that we're taking herbs to keep the digestion clear. We're keeping our mind clean by not absorbing too much rubbish from the outside. We're associating in good company. We're doing really nourishing things for the inside of our soul that allows us to have good eye health, to be able to see things clearly as they actually are, not as how our conditioned collective toxins want us to see life, which is often pretty negative. So if you are suffering from even inflammation in the eyes, vision disturbances, a lot of itching in the eyes, try to see the bigger picture. Is there something that you're not looking at clearly in your life? Is there some kind of truth that needs to be seen and needs to be sharpened, in which case your vision requires to be sharpened? And that might involve a process of reducing or looking out for any kapha imbalances, sugar levels, excess cholesterol, in which case you might want to look at if there's any attachment issues going on. Are you holding on to something and therefore you're not able to see the truth? Or maybe the pitta disturbance is making you feel so angry and frustrated inside that you're not either able to see the truth, because this anger is creating that blindness for you to see clearly. If you are suffering with any eye problems, the Eyekey Malt is definitely one to give a try. It's because it's a real investment to look after our eyes in order to see the truth as we're going along. So if you have any questions or concerns in taking the Eyekey Malt, do reach out. We'd be happy to answer. Otherwise, take care of your eyes, take care of your vision, and always look for the truth.